In a 2024 study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, researchers found plastic particles known as nanoplastics, microscopic foreign particles sometimes smaller than a human blood cell, embedded inside the arteries of 58% of surgical patients. Those with plastic in their blood vessels were 4.5 times more likely to die. That study is real. That journal is the most respected in medicine. And that number, 4.5 times, is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle about what is happening inside your blood right now. Welcome to the Metabolic Files. The identity. This channel is not run by a doctor. That needs to be clear up front, and it will be repeated in every single episode. What this channel is an investigation. A deep read of the studies that get published in journals most people will never open, broken down into language that makes sense so you can have smarter conversations with your doctor, make better decisions for your family, and stop being the last to know what the science already says. This channel exists because the same research your oncologist reads should not be locked behind paywalls and jargon. You deserve to understand it. And you are about to. Let us start with a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew about cancer: the science. The Warburg effect. In 1924, a German scientist named Otto Warburg made a discovery so significant it earned him the Nobel Prize in Physiology. He discovered something about cancer cells that, 100 years later, most patients have still never been told. He found that cancer cells process energy differently than every other cell in the body. Normal, healthy cells use oxygen efficiently through oxidative phosphorylation. Clean, efficient energy production. That is what every cell is designed to do. Cancer cells refuse. Even when oxygen is available, even when they are surrounded by it, cancer cells switch to a far less efficient process called glycolysis. They ferment glucose the way yeast ferments sugar into alcohol. Except instead of alcohol, they produce lactic acid. That lactic acid does something devastating. It acidifies the tissue surrounding the tumor. It breaks down barriers between cells. It creates an environment where cancer can invade, spread, and colonize distant organs. Scientists call this the Warburg effect. Published and validated in journals including PLOS One, the Journal of Biological Chemistry, and Biochimica at Biophysica Acta. Now here is where it gets truly unsettling. If cancer cells thrive when oxygen is low, what happens when the oxygen environment gets even worse? The master switch, HIF-1 alpha. When oxygen drops in any tissue, cells activate a protein called HIF-1 alpha, hypoxia-inducible factor 1 alpha, a master emergency switch. In healthy tissue, this switch saves your life. It tells cells to conserve energy, build new blood vessels, and adapt. One of the most elegant survival systems in human biology. But in a tumor, HIF-1 alpha gets hijacked. It reprograms cancer cell metabolism to favor the Warburg effect. It stimulates angiogenesis, growing new blood vessels that feed the tumor directly. It activates epithelial to mesenchymal transition, making cancer cells mobile so they can break away, enter the bloodstream, and colonize distant organs. And perhaps most alarming, HIF-1 alpha suppresses the immune system in the exact location where it is needed most. It recruits regulatory T cells and myeloid-derived suppressor cells that form a protective shield around the tumor. The immune system, the army designed to destroy cancer, gets shut down at the gates. This is published in Signal Transduction and Targeted Therapy, one of the highest impact journals in molecular medicine, 2023. Low oxygen drives the Warburg effect. The Warburg effect feeds cancer. HIF-1 alpha accelerates everything. The question becomes, what in our modern world is systematically cutting off oxygen to our tissues? The microplastics connection. Published in the New England Journal of Medicine in March of 2024, researchers examined arterial plaque surgically removed from 257 patients. What they found changed the conversation about cardiovascular disease. 58% of those patients had polyethylene and polyvinyl chloride, the same plastics in grocery bags, water bottles, and food packaging, embedded directly inside the walls of their arteries. Patients with detectable plastics in their plaque were 4.5 times more likely to suffer a heart attack, stroke, or death compared to patients with clean plaque. In April 2025, the American Heart Association revealed that diseased carotid arteries contained approximately 50 times more microplastic particles than healthy arteries. Stroke patients had the highest concentrations of all. Then, in November 2025, an animal study in Environment International provided experimental confirmation. Male mice exposed to microplastics developed 624% more plaque buildup in the brachiocephalic artery. No weight gain, no cholesterol changes. The plastics alone were enough to clog the vessels that carry oxygen to every organ. The very substance we drink from, eat off of, and breathe in every day is being found inside human artery walls. And the published science correlates it directly with restricted blood flow, reduced oxygen delivery, and death. Here is what the Metabolic Files is about. There are treatments, mechanisms, and biological realities that address exactly what we just discussed: blood flow, oxygenation, how the body rebuilds itself at the cellular level that most people have never been told about. There are historical court cases where practitioners brought dozens of patients to testify. There are drugs pulled from the American market that other countries still prescribe. There is a biological fact that most people do not know. Every single red blood cell in your body dies and is replaced every 120 days. Your blood is completely new every 4 months. What you put into your body during those 4 months determines the quality of every new cell your bone marrow creates. Over the coming weeks, the Metabolic Files is going to investigate all of it. The science, the history, the biology most doctors do not have time to explain. Every source linked in the description, so nothing is taken on faith. If this opened your eyes to something you did not know, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss what comes next. This is just the beginning. Share this with someone in your life who deserves to hear what the research actually says. Tag them in the comments. Send them the link. One person. Today. Every source cited in this episode is linked in the description. Read them. That is the entire point of this channel. The Metabolic Files does not ask you to believe anything. It asks you to verify everything. This channel is not operated by a physician, and nothing presented is medical advice. All information comes from published, peer-reviewed research and publicly available records. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before making any decisions about your health. The next file is waiting.